Okay, so we have completed 9 chapters up to chapter 9 on Thursday. Today we will start chapter 10. Chapter 10 talks about the dismantling and reconstruction. Okay. So far what we know about the reconstruction is we have to completely clean the tank. And if you take readings, then it should be reconstructed within 180 days. That reading is valid for 180 days, now 6 months only it is valid. Okay. Then in this chapter, how to reconstruct it. If you see, most of the chapter 10 will be same like a 650 chapter 7, construction, erection chapter. The all peaking, banding. So I will go through the chapter wherever there is a conflict. What do you mean by conflict? 650 have different requirements. 653 I will mention. Wherever it is same requirements also I will mention. So you can note it in your code book. Same as 650, different from 650. So it will be easy to do. Now, what size we have to cut it? There are two things. If you take a shell, if you take any shell wells are butt wells. So this is my shell. So shells I have vertical and horizontal wells are butt wells. These are the butt wells. It is no need to cut each and every joint during dismantling for reconstruction. If you are transporting with a long tractor, you can use the old joints. So you can cut like this also. So in between whatever the joints there, you can use it, reuse it. So no need to cut each and every joint and make it a plate. Now when cutting the butt joints, there are two things. If the thickness is less than half an inch, you can cut on the weld, exactly cut on the weld, and we can grind it and edge prepare and weld it. But if the thickness is more than half an inch, we have to cut and remove a strip. We have to cut and remove a strip, throw it. Weld with the heat affected zone, we have to cut it when the thickness is more than half an inch. So how much is considered as a heat affected zone? Half of the weld is weld width or quarter inch on both sides of the weld. Suppose weld have 1 inch width, this side 0.25 half an inch, this side half an inch. So 2 inch you have to cut it, throw it. Then what will happen when you are reconstructing? There will be a shortage of the plate. Then you have to put a extra plate there when you are reconstructing. That is the one. So again, I will repeat, butt joints, there are two rules. Either you can cut the joint, or if you want to cut away from the joint, it is allowed. Minimum 6 inch away from the joint, you have to cut it. Any butt weld, see, everywhere, I told you many common things. You remember 650, I told you the rule 655. 653 thickness, what is the thickness? 2.5, 2.5, 2.3. Same way, everywhere butt joints comes, there will be a 6 inch rule. What is the corner radius of butt joint? Minimum 6 inch. 6 inch or 60, whichever is greater. Wherever fillet will come, 2 inch rules will follow. What is the corner radius of the fillet weld? 2 inch minimum radius. Same way, butt joint for reconstruction, then either you get to cut on the joint or 6 inch away from the joint. When you cut a fillet weld, where we will use the tank fillet weld, all bottom welds or roof welds, you have to cut on the joint or 2 inch away from the joint. Okay. Bottom weld, generally, what are the bottom welds? We are using a lap joint. So this lap joint is welded only in the one side. You can remove this weld by gas cutting. That is called a deseaming or grinding. Grinding and lift the plate separate. Either you can deseam it, or if you want to cut the plate away from the weld, it should be minimum 2 inch away from the weld. Any lap welds, deseaming is allowed. Deseaming means grinding and removing the weld and lifting the plate. Lap weld or 2 inch away from the lap weld. Yeah. Or 6 inches away from. For example, this is the joint. You can cut here. You can make a cut, suppose 6 inch away. This much only you can do. If you are not able to cut, you have to cut in the 6 inch away from the joint. You can keep the joint. Huh? Horizontal also. Horizontal, vertical. Any butt joint, you have to cut on the joint or 6 inch away from the joint. Any lap joint, you have to deseam it or 2 inch away from the joint, you have to cut it. Only thing in the butt weld, if you are cutting on the joint, thickness is less than half 1 inch, you can cut exactly on the weld and remove the weld. But if it is more than half 1 inch, it is not only weld, you have to cut the weld plus heat affected zone also. Common.
Fillet joints, sir.
Huh?
How about for fillet joints, sir?
Fillet joints, you have to cut it. Fillet joints, we will not cut on the fillet weld. Suppose you have a nozzle. Nozzle, we will not cut the nozzle. We will use the nozzle same like this. We will cut the only shell plate because our transportation will be a longer plates will be used. Nozzles, we will not cut and remove the nozzles. Now, another thing, remember, when you are cutting the tank into pieces and you are going for reconstruction, some may be not in a good condition, damaged condition. That you have to use a new plate. Wherever you find it cannot be reused, we have to use a new plate. Okay, this is about the cutting. Okay, let us start.
Sir?
Bottom and lap fillet weld.
Okay.
Right, so please take the code book. All reconstruction work must be authorized by the authorized inspector or an engineer experienced in the storage tank design. Please remember, it is same like a 650 only. 650, you know that it should be authorized by either inspector or engineer. Okay. The authorized inspector will designate the hold points. Hold points will be designated by the authorized inspector. Now, cleaning. The tank shall be cleaned and gas freed prior to commencement of the disbanding. You have to clean and gas free. Highlight this one. Then roof, shell, and bottom plates may be cut into any size that are readily transportable to the new site for reconstruction. So whatever site possible, how you are going to transport, the size of the plate you are cutting depends on the mode of transport. Then this is important close book question. Bottom plates that will be reused shall be cut by deseaming the lapels or by cutting alongside the remaining welds, remaining minimum 2 inch away from the existing welds. So either you have to deseam it. Deseaming means removing the weld and plates, taking the plates away, or it should be 2 inch away from the existing weld. Then these are not important. Shell. Come to the shell. Any shell ring may be dismantled by cutting out the existing weld seams and the heat affected zone of the weld. For the purpose of this method, the minimum heat affected to be removed will be half of the weld width or 1/4 inch, whichever is less. So we will take only 1/4 inch, 6 mm as a heat effect zone for this purpose. The next page, highlight the B. Any shell ring half 1 inch thick or thinner may be dismantled by cutting through the weld without removing HSZ. So no need to remove heat effect zone when the thickness is half 1 inch thick or thinner. Shell rings may be dismantled by cutting vertical and horizontal cuts through the shell minimum 6 inch away from the existing, except where cuts cross existing joints. Only you have to cut on the weld or 6 inch away from the weld. That's why I put it very simple. All but 6 inch is the rule. All fillet 2 inch is the rule. Then roof. Roof also fillet 2 inch only. Highlight this one. Roof plate shall be cut by deseaming the lap welds or by cutting alongside the remaining welds minimum 2 inch away from the welds. So minimum 2 inch away from the welds. That is a closed book question. Then before cutting, you have to mark the tank clearly where you are going to cut it. And suppose, so this is the area you are going to cut like this. Then there should be a punch mark. You have to make a punch here with some number. For example, 1A, 1A, 1B, 1B. Here, bottom side also 2 sets. 2A, 2A, 2B, 2B. So that it can be exactly match it there. Easy to install. Because otherwise you should not search which plate where to this one. So minimum 2 set of punch mark on the top side and the bottom side of the each cutting plate should be there. Okay, this is another close question. Then 10352. A minimum 2 set of matching center punch marks shall be located on the top and the bottom edges of the each shell plate to facilitate proper alignment during the reconstruction. Then please go to the next reconstruction. Reconstruction, what is the vertical joint stagger? New construction, 5T. What is the T? Thickness of the thicker plate. Same here, same requirement. Highlight this one. New vertical joint and adjacent shell courses shall not be aligned but shall be offset from each other minimum 5T, where T is the plate thickness of the thicker course. That is a closed course. Now, here there is a conflict. 650, what 650 says, when welding is not permitted as per 650, when there is a rain, snow, water on the surface, there is no welding is permitted. But as per reconstruction, when the temperature is below 0 degree Fahrenheit, welding is not permitted. When the atmospheric temperature is below 0 degree, this condition is not in the 650. Just to mark it, it is not in 650. 650, this condition is not there. So please highlight this one. Fourth line. No welding of any kind shall be performed when the temperature of the base metal is less than 0 degree Fahrenheit. It is the special requirement for reconstruction. New construction, there is no requirement like this. When the temperature base metal is 0 to 32, the thickness of excess in 1 inch, the base metal in 3 inch shall be started to be heated to the temperature warm to the hand. This requirement also not in 650. So we are comparing construction and reconstruction. These are special requirements for the reconstruction. Brittle flux. Then, what is the maximum reinforcement allowed? Table 10.1. It is the same table as a 650. When you have time, you compare 650, the table is same. It is an open book question. So whether it is a new construction and a reconstruction, reinforcement is same. But I just remember 650, there are two tables for reinforcement. One is, this is for visual. Another one is where you are going to take radiography. That table is only in 650. Here, that table is not there. That is different. How you will differentiate between the table? The radiography table, it doesn't matter whether the horizontal or vertical joint. Where you want to take radiography, what is the maximum reinforcement allowed? But this is for the visual. The reinforcement of new weld butt joints each side shall not exceed. You can write here same as 650. It is same as 650. 650 table 1. 650. This is 650. 650. Tack welds in the assembly are vertical and shall be removed and shall not remain the finished joints that are welded manually. That is important. Tack welds you have to remove completely. The next page. This is all 650 requirements only. If the weldable primer coatings have been applied on the surface to be welded, they shall be included in the welding procedure qualification. Yeah, the same only. So if you are using primers, then it should be included in the procedure qualification. Same 650. This all same 650 only. Low hydrogen electrode shall be used for manual or matlock weld, including the attachment of the false shell course bottom. For all attachments welds, half an inch thick group 1, 2, 3 material. For all welds 650 group 4, 6. This is very important. When low hydrogen electrodes are required, see, when you want to make any repair on the tank, low hydrogen repair electrodes only you have to use. Low hydrogen E7019, 7015, 7016. And group 1 to 3, when the thickness is more than half an inch, you have to use low hydrogen. For group 4 to 6, all thickness you have to use a low hydrogen. Then bottom. Highlight 10432. The welding of the shell to bottom shall be completed prior to the welding of the bottom joint. These are same requirements. You remember we have to complete the shell to bottom weld before the completion of the bottom. That is closed book question. Then misalignment. You remember how much misalignment is allowed? As per 650, see, for vertical joint, when the thickness is more than 16 mm, 10% allowed, but maximum 3 mm. When the thickness is less than 16 mm, 1.6 mm. That is fixed, no 10%. Horizontal joint, when the thickness is more than 8 mm, 20% allowed, maximum 3 mm. When the thickness is less than 8 mm, 1.6 mm allowed. No need to remember. This is an open book question. Same requirement only here. The only difference they give only here, they are given only inch. They are given in inch and mm. Here they have given only in this one. Okay. Right. So highlight, this is the same as here 10.4.4. Good morning, Mr. Ranjit. Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Right. Plates should be joined, but butt welding shall be matched accurately in the position 5 by 8 inch. For 5 by 8 inch means, okay, the more than shall not exceed 10% with a maximum 1 by 3 mm. Okay, this is the same 650 requirement. 10.4.4.2 horizontal joint, again there is the same 650 requirement. Okay, please remember, construction, reconstruction, most of the requirements will be similar. Only 2-3 areas. So one, what is the conflict so far we have seen? As per for construction, welding is not permitted when there is rain, snow, all. But for reconstruction, when the temperature is below 0 degree, reconstruction is not permitted. Okay. Another one, this is the new requirement. 10.4.4.3 for horizontal vertical joint in 10 shells course, constructed metal over 1.5 inch, multi-pass weld procedure with no pass greater than 3 by 4 inch. You remember I told you there is a mistake in 650. They put 1.5 inch. Actually, this is the correct requirement. Yeah, any thickness cannot be more than 3 by 4 inch. A minimum preheat 200 degree Fahrenheit is required in these welds. That is important. Then next, dimension tolerances. Measurements to verify this tolerance shall be taken before the hydrostatic of the reconstruction. When you have to take this plumbness, everything before hydrostatic test. That is important. Close book question. Now, here there is a change. For construction as per 650, what is the plumbness allowed out of plumbness? 1 by 200. Here 1 by 100, but there is a maximum limit is there. Maximum only 5 inch allowed. There is no maximum limit in the 650. So plumbness, highlight this one. The maximum out of plumbness of the top of the shell relative to the bottom shall not exceed 1 by 100 with a maximum of 5 inch. Okay, the 1 by 100 criteria with the maximum shall also take fixed roof columns and for tanks in the internal floating roofs. Now, for example, we will take, say, a tank. What diameter we will take? Okay, tank dia 50 feet. Now, what is the out of plumbness allowed? So you have to calculate in exact value, not 1 by 100. How much allowed in 650, 653? Calculate it. 650, how much allowed? 653, how much allowed? Construction and reconstruction. Maybe one. ஏப்பா ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணல இடையில?
இல்ல சார் நின்றுச்சு சார். திருப்பி பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
எப்ப நின்னுச்சு?
இப்ப கை டச் அப் ஆயிடுச்சு சார்.
சரி ஓகே. சரி. Section 11.
Section 10 was the 3 questions, sir.
Yeah, 3 questions. Generally, it will have 3 questions.
Section 11, sir.
Welding 1 or 2 questions. It is not very important. 11. Okay, welding. So, welding procedure specification. Welding procedure specification and the welding operator shall be qualified according to Section 9. The additional requirements of 650 and this standard. Very important. For reconstruct a tank or repair, we have to follow PQ or WPS as per Section 9, as per 650 and 653 also, and this standard. That means you have to follow 653 also. Then anything for the not attachments. Structural, we have to follow AWSD 1.1 or DWSD 1.6 and so or Section 9. This is same as a 650 requirement. Then confirmation, weldability of steel from existing tank shall be verified. If the material specification for steel from an existing tank is unknown, a test coupon for the welding procedure shall be taken from an actual existing field. Suppose you don't know what is the weldability material, you have to take a coupon cut. Then highlight the next line. Removal of test coupon is not required, provided that the proposed welding procedure and the proposed coupon for non-test examination reviewed and approved by the storage tank engineer. Then these are almost 650 requirements only. The contractor shall assign each welder and welding operator on identifying number, letter, or symbol. So how many feet you have to mark the welder identification symbol? Every 3 feet. Which one does not require welder identification? Nozzle to flange neck welds. Same requirements here. Okay. Next paragraph. The welder or welding operator shall be stamped either by hand or machine all tanks. The mark shall be at intervals not more than 3 feet along the following, including all openings. Flange to nozzle neck weld do not require welder identification. In lieu of stamping, the contractor may keep the written record. Exact 60 requirements only. Now we will go to the what is meant by preheat method and is meant by control deposition method. Even though it is not very important for exam, maybe one question only. Now, understand, a tank was force well heated originally as per construction. What force well heat treatment require or clean out plus stores PWC is required. And group 1 to 3, nozzle size more than 12 inch, thickness more than 1 inch. Group 4 to 6, nozzle size more than 2 inch, thickness more than half an inch. Now, in this, if you want to make any repair during in-service, after repair, you have to do PWC. That is the standard one. We have to do any PWC item. You are doing repair means again we have to do PWC. But it is allowed to do repair without the PWC also. There are two conditions. If the material was not impact tested as per 650, you know, when impact test is required, only you can preheat and weld instead of PWC. But there are certain conditions. It is allowed for only P number 1. Preheat, what is preheat means 300 degree Fahrenheit, you have to preheat it. Intrapass temperature should not be more than 600 degree Fahrenheit. How much area we have to preheat it? From the weld, 4 times thickness we have to preheat it, or 4 inch. 4 times thickness means that T is the repair depth, not a tank plate thickness. How much repair depth you are using? 4 times repair depth or 4 inches, whichever is plate. This method is called preheating method. So when preheating method allowed is instead of PWC, okay, when the tank must not impact tested. Suppose it is impact tested, you have to do this preheat method and you have to go control deposition welding. So first to understand what is meant by control deposition welding. So control deposition welding, or shortly called as CDW. There are two techniques in control deposition welding. One is called temper bead welding. Another one is called half bead weld. Okay, now first understand this logic. That is only point of view on the way. Now, you know, what is the opposite of brittleness? Toughness. What is the relation between toughness and the grain size? My question is, small grain will have a better toughness or coarse grain will have a better toughness? So smaller the grain.
Smaller grain.
Yeah, smaller grain, better toughness. Next question is, what is the relation between grain size and cooling rate? If you cool fast a weld, it will result in a smaller grain or big grain.
Smaller grain.
Faster cooling rate will result in a smaller grain or coarse grain. Coarse means big, both are same. A faster cooling rate will result in a smaller grain. Because when you're cooling it fast, the material will not have sufficient time to make it as a big grain. Otherwise, what we have, cool it slowly, the grains will join together and it become a big grain. So fast cooling will result in a smaller grain. The example is, which are the best method for improve grain size? We will say is normalizing. How they will do normalizing? Cooling in the air. Okay, so that will cool fast. Whereas annealing, cooling in the furnace, will have a coarse grain. Okay, that is what is the purpose of doing annealing is to improve the ductility, flexibility will support. Okay, now suppose I have make a weld. For example, this is my weld edge preparation. You know the first pass, what we will call it as a first pass? Root pass. The second pass is called as a hard pass. When you are welding a hard pass, understand this please. Hard pass, root pass also heated more than 900 degrees centigrade. 900 degrees centigrade is the approximate upper critical temperature of steel. So when you are welding a hard pass, root will partially fuse and the remaining also will be heated above 900. When you move the hard pass fast, root pass also will cool fast and the grain size will become small. The same way, any pass if you are welding, the previous pass grain size you can alter it. Only thing you have to make a very thin pass so that the entire thickness is heated. Second thing, you have to move it fast. Fast only will result in a fast cold. So when you make small passes like this, every time the previous pass is grain size is altered. Now for make it to final pass, we will weld one more extra pass, then we will grind and remove. This type of welding is called temper bead welding. So what is meant by temper bead welding? Tempering is the heat treatment to improve the toughness. By welding, you are altering the grain size of the previous pass. புரியுதா இது லாஜிக்? வெல்ட் அடிக்கிறப்ப கீழே இருக்கிற பாஸ் வந்து ஹீட் ஆகும், மேல இருக்கிற பாஸை ஃபாஸ்டா மூவ் பண்ணா அதுவும் ஃபாஸ்டா கூல் ஆகுறப்ப கிரைன் சைஸ் ஆகும். No, you will not grind, you will make a small pass, thin pass. You will not make a thick pass. ஏன்னா thick ஆச்சுன்னா entire thickness will not be heated. Thin pass, thin layer of stringer bead you have to make it. We will not do it for the weaving. ஃபாஸ்டானா தான் ஸ்மால் கிரைன். அதுக்கு தான் கவனிங்கன்னு சொன்னேன், நீங்க எழுதிக்கிட்டே இருக்கீங்க. ஓகே, ஃபாஸ்டா தான் ஸ்மால். ஸோ ஃபாஸ்ட்னா ஃபாஸ்ட் கூல் ஆகும். ஃபாஸ்ட் கூலிங் ரிசல்ட் இன் ஏ smaller grain. A smaller grain will improve the toughness. This is called as a temper bead. Now another one is, suppose you cannot make a thin pass. Suppose your pass is thick, then we weld over the pass, it will not heat entirely. Then we have to remove half of the pass. You have to grind it and make it as a thin pass. So suppose this is my another one. I am making a root pass. Now if the thickness is thick like this and you think it will not heat, we have to grind it and remove the half of the pass. That is called half bead welding. Only half bead we are removing it, half bead only we are. So every pass when you make a weld, you have to cut it off. And finally we will weld one pass, then we will grind it. Is to extra pass is to make the final pass, alter the grain size. This is called as a half bead welding. Now anything you can use it. Which one you, both are commonly called as a controlled deposition welding. Which pass you will say, which process you will select, which electrode you are going to use. It depends on the SMAW, GTAW, GMAW, which you are going to use. Now the question is, how I know the toughness is improved? By doing this welding. So what code says, if you want to do any temper bead welding or half bead welding, every time you have to qualify the procedure. So what is meant by procedure qualification? Take the same tank material, make a PQR by using temper bead welding or half bead welding, then send it for impact test. If it pass impact test, means the toughness is improved by welding. That's all. Okay, this is called a temper bead and half bead welding. It is allowed by the code for P1, P3, P4 material. P1 is carbon steel, P3 is the off moly, P4 is the 1 chromium off moly. But even though our storage tank only we are talking about the carbon steel, it is allowed for this material. Okay, then if the impact test material will preheat as well as will go for the control deposit. Even though exam point of view, rarely one question asked in this area. So please mark it if you want, write it, then we'll continue. It is allowed in Python 570 and 653 all. We will not follow the section 9 requirements. Each thickness you have to follow. Yes, whatever thickness. Suppose you are going to make a 10 mm. Section 9, 10 mm, if you qualify, it can work up to 20 mm, but it is not. There is a separate table. If you are making 10 mm, it is allowed less than 10 mm, not 2T. Okay, right. We will go through the code book, even though it is not very important for exam point. Actually, my opinion, they just copy paste 510, 570 for tank also. Okay, right. Highlight this one. For preheat and control deposition welding may be used 11.3 in lie of PWC for repair to existing nozzle where PWC is required by 653 or was performed in the original construction but is inadvisable or mechanically unnecessary for the repair. Prior to using any alternative method, a metallurgical review conducted by storage tank shall be performed to assess whether the proposed alternative is suitable for the application. That is closed book question. Prior to using any alternative, if you want a metallurgical review shall be conducted by the storage tank engineer. That is closed book question. Then this is also important. The storage tank engineer must concur in writing with the PWC exemption. So if you want to avoid, it should be written by engineer and the owner should accept that one. We are going for alternative methods. Although the tank owner operator must authorize the exemption in writing. Then this is the preheating method when impact testing not required. Highlight this one. The method is limited to P1 materials that were not required to be impact tested as part of the original construction. The welding shall be limited to SIW, FCAW, and GTAW. Then this is the only important. The weld area shall be preheated minimum 300 degrees Fahrenheit during welding. That is a closed book question. The temperature shall be taken assured 4 inch or 4 times thickness, whichever is greater on each side, maintained. The maximum interpass temperature shall not exceed 600 degrees Fahrenheit. These are not important. Generally, this area may be one question only there. Then control deposition welding. If impact testing is required, the following requirement. This is a closed book question. This is limited to P1, P3, P4. So we have to check P1, P3, P4. This is same process. SMAW, GMAW, FCAW, GTAW, same like before. Then highlight the C. A weld procedure specification shall be developed and qualified for each application. Every time we have to make a peak one. The weld procedure shall define preheat, interpass, all. So this is the table you have to follow. This is open book question. You remember I told you section 9 generally 2T is allowed. Here see, for example, thickness of the test coupon is less than 2 inch, only less than thickness allowed. When the thickness of test coupon greater than 2 inch only, it is unlimited. If you take deposited welded metal, small t, whatever the thickness you are welding, less than the thickness only allowed. Now, another one, suppose I told you for making this PQR, you have to take the same tank material. Suppose tank material is not available. It is a old tank, that material is not available in the market. So we have to take a compatible, which is compatible, is not a same, but important is carbon percent should not be more than 0.35. Very, very important. If the original material specification is absolute, the test material should conform as much as possible to the material, but in no case shall the material be lower in strength or have a carbon content more than 0.35%. That is closed book question. Then these are not important. Now go to the next page. See, what is low hydrogen electrode? Which electrode is considered low hydrogen? E? Sorry. So E7018, 7015, 7016. So 7018. Okay, very good. We call this electrode 5, 6 also same. Normally we are using 7018. What is meant by low hydrogen? How much hydrogen is allowed in 7018? We are telling low hydrogen. Then what is the maximum hydrogen allowed in this electrode is? It is electrode 15 ml per 100 gram of weld. So maximum hydrogen allowed. This electrode should not be used for temper bead and off bead welding. When you are going, no, you should not use this. We have to use either E708-H8 or H4 only we have to use. Only these two are allowed. H8 is another 8 ml, still low hydrogen. When you are using H8, post heating is mandatory. Post heating at 500 degree Fahrenheit required. If you are using H4, not required, because it is a very low hydrogen. Not required post heating. No. The PWC already, PWC exemption only we are using, so there is no PWC. Post heating means immediately after welding. For 2 hours you will heat it so that entrapped hydrogen will come out. That is not required for H4. Okay. In this area, very few question. Highlight this one. 6. For welding only use low hydrogen filler metals are classified specification with an optional supplemented H8 or lower. Then this is open to question. 6 last line. Surfaces on which welding performed shall be maintained in a dry condition during welding and free from rust, mill scale, hydrogen producing contaminants such as oil, grease, and other organic materials. Then highlight the 7. The welding technique shall be a controlled deposition, temper bead or off bead technique. The specific technique shall be used in the procedure. Either you can use a temper bead or off bead. Then this is what I said. For welds SMAW, after completion of welding and without allowing the weldment to cool below the minimum, the temperature of the weld shall be raised to 500 plus or minus. That is called post heating. For minimum period, 2 hours to assist the outgassing diffusion of welded metal hydrogen picked up during welding. This hydrogen backward treatment may be omitted, provided the electrode is classified H4 or lower. So 7018 H4, no need for the post heat. Then highlight the 9. After finished repair, the welder has pulled ambient, the final temper bead layer shall be removed substantially flush on the surface. So at the final, we have to flush grind. That is the process. Now we will go to the section 12, examination and testing. At least 5 questions will be asked in the examination and testing. Another important chapter. So I told you only 2 chapters, chapter 4, 9 will have more questions. Then the examination will also have more than 5 questions. 12. 11 will not have much questions. Nothing about it. Okay. Now, it is talk about the examination testing of the repairs, alteration, okay, and reconstruction. Okay. This chapter I told you more than 5 questions it will have. First one, this is very simple. ND shall be performed according to AP 650 and any supplemental requirements given here. So we have to follow 650 requirements plus additional requirements. Highlight this one. Person performing ND shall be qualified according to 50 section 8 and any supplement. So NDT supplemental and additional requirements. Section 8 talks about the NDT, the radiography requirements, that requirements. 650. ND technician. So we have to follow MT, PRT, UT 650 requirements. No. See, as per if you go 650 section 8, it says we have to follow section ASME section 8. I told you as per ASME section 8, PT, MT no need level 2. Only RT, UT we need level 2. Another I told acceptance criteria for PT, MT, VT, RT as per section 8. For UT agreed between the purchaser and manufacturer. So these are 650 requirements. So we have to follow the 650 requirements for all NDT. Any additional now highlight the 12117 ultrasonic examination 650 annex review may be alternately applied by agreement between the purchaser if radiography specific. So for RT you can do UT also. Then coming to the shell penetrations. Now, where we have to do UT for lamination, very important. So UT for not defect lamination check, where we will do before you are going to cut any nozzle in a shell. In service, you have to do the lamination. Or if you want to install a hot tap, that also we have to do the lamination. Very, very important. This is ultrasonic examination of shell plate for lamination shall be made in the immediate area when adding a reinforcement to existing unreinforced penetration or adding a hot tap. Suppose you are putting a reinforced plate, you have to check the lamination, and the hot tap location also you have to check. That is closed book question. Then highlight to 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. Completed wells attaching nozzle neck to shell and reinforcing plate to shell shall be examined by MPRPT. So any fillet weld, generally we will do MPRPT. Then PWST. If you are doing any PWST, after PWST, MP is mandatory. That is the one. Completed wells of stress relief assembly shall be examined by magnetic particle or liquid after stress relief before hydro test. Now, examination of repaired weld defects. Suppose weld you are making some repair. Completed weld repairs of butt weld shall be examined over their full length by radiography or ultrasonic, that is closed book. If you are making any weld repairs, that area completely we have to take radiograph. Then temporary or permanent attachment shell plates. The wells are permanent attachment and the areas where temporary attachments are removed and the remaining weld portions have been removed shall be examined visually. We have to check visual. The next one, the requirements of the section shall be followed when welding 654 to 6. Completed welds to new permanent attachment and the areas of temporary shall be examined with magnetic. See, generally visually we have to take, but to group 4 to 6, any temporary attachment removal we have to do MP. Any grinding we have to do MP. Group 4 to 6. Next paragraph. Just to highlight it, see, that is additional one. Okay. Now, shell to plate welds. Radiography, they have given the I think next page. But if the thickness is more than 1 inch and you are doing back gouging, all back gouged areas you have to do MPA. That is the additional. The next one. Second line actually. The new for plate thickness greater than 1 inch, the back gouged surface of root pass and final pass shall be examined for its complete length by magnetic particle or liquid penetrant examination. That is important. Yeah. Now shell to bottom. Shell to bottom, if you are making any repairs, that area we have to do the vacuum box. Okay, that is important. New welding on the shelter bottom shall be examined for its entire length by using right angle vacuum box or applying light diesel oil. That is, or you can use a light diesel oil. Additionally, the first pass shall be examined by applying the light diesel. The oil shall be allowed for 4 hours and the weld joint for wicking. This oil shall be removed before the weld is completed. So how many hours you have to hold the oil? 4 hours. Okay. Then these are not important. Then 12.1.6.3. The existing weld at the shelter bottom shall be examined visual as well as these are talking about the repair and reconstruction. Magnetic particle full length butter the welded and patch plate. Joints on each side shall be examined similarly before placement repair plate. These are not so. See, the existing weld at the shelter bottom joint shall be examined by visual as well as a magnetic particle or liquid penetrant. This is talking about the shelter bottom weld. For the full length under the welded on patch plate, if you are making any welded on patch plate near the shelter bottom, that area shelter bottom weld, you have to do MPP. In addition, 6 inch of the shelter bottom on each side of the patch weld shall be examined similarly by to check this one. Highlight this. Open book question. Yeah. No, that is not important. Yeah, because there are many requirements given. Now bottoms. Highlight the 6th line in the bottom. All new welds, including the weld attaching a patch plate to the bottom, the areas of the bottom plate restored by welding, and the restoration found the defect during shall be examined one of the methods 657.3.3. So 7.3 means the vacuum box or another methods. Bottom check test. Then this is important. In addition to the requirements of 12.7.1, the root and final pass of the welded and patch plate in the critical zone shall be visually examined and examined by either magnetic or liquid penetrant. Suppose critical zone you are using any welded and patch plate, root and final pass you have to do MTRP. That is important. These are not important. Then floating roof. Repair to work to steel floating roof. After repair work is completed, perform visual inspection on the top and the bottom. Perform air leak, vacuum box, penetrating oil, pressure gas. Anyone we have to do. இதுங்க ஷெல் திருப்பி போயிருக்கும் இதா இங்க இருக்கா that is not important. Not important, leave it. Next we will go to the radiographs. Radiograph, definitely there will be at least one question. Now what is the radiograph requirements? Very important requirements. Any new weld you are making, okay, suppose for the first any old weld left, for example reconstruction, if you are making reconstruction, we have some old weld. All old weld we have to take 650, but if you are making a new weld, we have to follow 653. Repair all new weld in the reconstruction tank, we have to follow 653 requirement. So what is the 653 requirement? If you are making any new weld in the tank, we have to follow 653. Vertical joint, if the thickness is less than 1 inch, because of more than 1 inch, full radiograph. Same here also. Less than 1 inch, each vertical one spot is mandatory. This is the 653 requirement. Each vertical joint, one spot. All junctions, radiography mandate. Second point. And the third point, horizontal. What is the 650 requirement for horizontal? Every 200 feet. Here, every 50 feet, one spot mandate. If you are making repair on the horizontal, new weld, new horizontal weld you are making, every 50 feet you have to take radiograph. Suppose you are replacing a plate like this, that is called a flush patch. Each vertical one spot is mandatory. Each horizontal one spot and corner joint. We have to take. Suppose you are replacing it. So highlight this. This is the flush patch requirement. Yeah, shell. We are talking about. Huh? Bottom, there is no radiography. Bottom and the roof, there is no radiography. We are going to talk radiography only in shell joint. Yeah. For vertical joint, new replacement to new shell plate, no additional radiography other than the required 650. New replacement to existing one additional shall be taken on each joint. This is important. If you are new to old weld, you are making a weld, then you have to take the one additional in vertical in this. Then repair joints in existing shall have one additional. Suppose you are making a joint repair, each vertical joint, one spot you have to take. Then for horizontal, highlight this one. New replacement shall plate in existing one additional radiograph for each 50 feet. Yeah, horizontal, every 50 feet you have to take one radiograph. That is important. Repair joint in existing shell plates that have one additional radiograph or 50 feet of the repaired horizontal. So for we are making horizontal weld repair also, every 50 feet you have to take one radiograph. That's also important. Then for intersection of vertical and horizontal, new replacement, no additional. The new replacement, this is important. Existing, each intersection shall be radiograph. All T joint you have to take radiograph. 12.213 B. All repaired intersection in existing shell plate shall be radiographed. B, C, rendu. Again I will repeat. Again I will repeat. See, when you are making new joints, suppose reconstruction, you are making some two new plates joint, you have to follow 650. Any new to old plate weld, we have to follow 650. New to new, na 650. That is considered as a new joint. What is the 653 requirement? Vertical, each vertical one spot. Any repair in each vertical joint one spot. All junctions one spot. Horizontal, every 50 feet one spot. That's all. Now highlight this one. What about the annular plate? See, you remember annular plate, what is the requirement? For single welded, double welded, 10%, single welded, 50%. That is the 650 requirement. Here, for reconstructed, each butt annular plate shall be radiographed on accordance of 650. For reconstructed radiograph exams, record 25% of all junction existing seams. That is highlighted.
Sir, unuradi solunga sir. Enna sir sonninga idukku?
Annular plate வந்து all butt welds we have to take radiograph.
Okay sir. 650 la sir.
650 la வந்து if it is a double welded butt weld in annular, 10% only radiograph. Single welded அப்படினா within 50% of you have to take one spot.
ஆமா சார், ஞாபகம் இருக்கு சார். 25%. அப்புறம் சார்
இல்ல speak in English please.
Sir, before that you was explaining about the joining the new plate with the old shell which comes under 65. Additional joint you made, what is mean by, like in the previous lead diagram, in the previous flip the previous explanation page.
Okay, no problem. See, this is my tank.
Yes sir.
Okay, now I want to reconstruct a tank. I am cutting like this. My cutting plan is like this. I am going to cut all the joints, for example, all the joints. I am cutting all the joints. Cutting and repairing. Now, if you see this, understand this. This joint is new plate with a new plate. New plate with a new plate. New plate with a new plate. But here new, we have a old plate. This is the area we are going to replace. In a tank, we are going to replace some corroded area. How many shell cores I am going to replace? 1, 2, 3, 4. If you replace, these are the new to new. Here it is a old already, this side. Now what code says? This we have to follow 650 requirement. And this do joint, we have to follow 653.
Okay, sir.
What is the 653 requirement? Any vertical spot we have to take 650. The 650 requirements, every 100 feet we have to take one spot. So we have to measure the length, maybe only one spot required for all the three joints. That is the meaning of this. If we take horizontal here, suppose this is a old plate and this is a new plate, then we have to follow 653. What is the requirement 653? Every 50 feet, one spot you have to take. And whatever T joints, all junctions we have to take radius. Okay, just to read one more time. Okay, again I will repeat. Any new plate to new plate, 650 requirement. Any old plate with the new plate 653, they will ask only 653 requirement. 650 they will ask for the new construction. Don't confuse this. Yeah. Yeah, this one old one will be the 653 requirement. Horizontal will be if it is only because suppose here also we are replacing, then new will come. Wherever both plates are new plates, you are welding 650 you have to follow. Wherever new plates with the old plates you are making weld, you have to follow 653. But don't get confused. Exam point of view, only what is the 653 requirement? Each vertical one spot. All junction one spot. Horizontal every 50 feet one spot. Yes, please. Yeah. Okay. Don't get confused. Will not waste much of them. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now next one. New and replaced shell plate door sheet weld shall be radiograph. All junction between repair and existing shall be radiograph. If defects are 100% radiograph on the repair. So new and replaced door shell plate and door sheet weld shall be radiograph, but joint. That is a open to question. Then this is very, very important. For square and rectangular replacement plates, at least one radiography shall be taken in a vertical joint, at least one in a horizontal and one each corner. So horizontal, vertical, when you are using a replacement flush patch, vertical one spot, horizontal one spot, all corners you have to take radiograph. When a square rectangle replacement is exceeding 1 inch, vertical joint shall be fully radiographed. Then this is, that minimum length of the radiograph shall be 6 inches. What is the radiograph minimum length is 6 inches. Diagnostic means length only. That's all. Yes, this is same. System. Now, acceptance criteria for existing shell to shell plate. If the radiograph or intersection between the new and old weld defects unacceptable by the current applicable, then the existing weld shall be evaluated for the asphalt or fitness for service or repair. Suppose it is not acceptable, we have to repair or we have to go for fitness for. Then marking, this is a, suppose a repair is weld if it is not acceptable. What you have to do? You have to repair it. Suppose you don't want repair, you have to go for a fitness for service. Repair in accordance with the 9.7. 9.7 next chapter. You have to grind it and weld it. Then this is very important. Radiographs with radiograph shall be marked with the letter R. Repair joints. You have to make R. Then we'll go to the hydro setting. When hydro test is mandatory, reconstruct a tank hydro test is mandatory. If a tank has a severe service, you remember chapter 5, we have seen what is severe service? Storing a fluid with higher specific gravity or lowering the temperature. We have to hydro test is mandatory. Third one is major repair, major alteration, hydro test is mandatory. Now, reconstruct a tank hydro test compulsory we have to do. There is no exemption. Severe service compulsory we have to do hydro test. There is no exemption. But a major repair alteration, it is allowed, exemption is allowed. So what is the exemption? First, the engineer, storage tank engineer to write the owner why he want to exempt from the hydro test. Why he cannot do hydro test after a major repair. And the owner should accept that what he has given the recommendation. So what we will do, we will do NDT. Wherever you are doing repair, we will substitute NDT. We will go fitness for service. There is a bit. Okay. So this is when hydro testing is required. A hydro test shall be performed on the following: a reconstructed tank. A tank has undergone major repair or major alteration unless exempted. A tank there is engineering as a need for that due to the increase in the severity service. Increased severity service, operating pressure, storing a higher specific gravity and lowering the service temperature. So this A and C hydro test is mandatory. For major repair alteration, it can be exempted by the next chapter. Can be exempted means no hydro test is not mandatory. Then how much liquid level you have to hold it for? 24 hours. Many things will repeat actually. Then when hydrostatic exemption is allowed. Again, I will repeat, it is applicable only for major repair and alteration. Severe service, it is not exempted. Reconstructed, it is not exempted. Now, what is this one? A full hydrostatic is not required major repair. First one, the repair has been reviewed and approved by engineer experience storage tank. The engineer must concur in writing with the hydrostatic. So he has to write to the owner why it is exempted. The owner has authorized the exemption in writing. He has to accept that owner. This is open to question. If you want to exception, this is the first condition. Engineer should concur in writing. Concur means you have to get acceptance from the owner in writing. Hydrostatic exemption means if we have done major repair or alteration, but some reason we don't want to do the hydro test. Then engineer first tell what are the reasons we have to explain, and the owner should accept it. Then they will what they will do. NDT will be increased, and they have to conduct fitness for whether hydro test. Without hydro test also it is okay. These are the reason. So first shell repair. This all exemption. See 12.3.3 is the hydro testing exemption. So first we have to what is the 12.3.3 to 3.36 we have to follow. See, a full hydrostatic is not required for major repair alteration. If 12.3.3 to satisfy 3.32, this is the one engineer has to write, owner has to accept, plus either of the following. Either of the following means you have to follow 12.3.3 to 3.36, or we have to go for fitness for service. Fitness for service, if you are going, no need for hydro test. Only for major repair and alteration. Again, I will repeat, severe service, hydro test is mandatory. Reconstructed hydro test is mandatory. Either you have to go for fitness for service or 12.3.3 to 3.6 you have to satisfy. Okay. What is 12.3.3? For wells in existing metal, develop welding procedure qualification based on the existing material chemistry strength. Welding procedure shall be qualified with the existing shell. First, we have to qualify the procedure for this repair procedure. Then 12.3.3, existing tank material in the repair area shall meet at least one of the following. So in the repair area, first condition is 657th edition or later, it should be either any one of these conditions. Within the safe use 5.2. 5.2, you know the safe use exemption curve it has to follow. Or this is the maximum stress 7,000 in the repair area. This is very important. The repair area shall 7,000. How to calculate the stress? This is a formula 2.6 HDG by T. T is the shell thickness at the area of interest. We will all question we have just to go through it. We will afternoon we will work questions for this. Then see alteration. I told you increasing or decreasing the tank shell height, installation of the new tank. So these two are only considered alteration. Major repair means anything more than 12 inch. Installing a nozzle more than 12 inch, repairing a welding more than 12 inch, or bottom within critical zone more than 12 inch. There is a big list is there. Any major repair alteration requires hydro test. For hydro test exemption, the first condition is engineer should write to owner and the owner should accept it. Apart from this, then next one, there are two options. Either he can go for fitness for service or he can follow these all rules. First, all what are the rules? This is any one of the thing you have to follow. 7th edition or later it should be constructed. Safe in 5.6. You can see existing tank in the repair shall meet at least one of the following requirements. Not all requirements. Stress should be at least 7,000. This is another condition. The new vertical and horizontal shell should have complete penetration and diffusion. Then the root pass and the final pass according to toll and addition, the finisher shall be radiograph. So all repair, you have to go for full radiograph. If you are going for exemption, we call it as a golden joint. Then repair critical zone. Repair to on-ring within the critical zone shall comply with the following. Be examined visual prior to welding and examine the root pass and by MT or PT and ultrasonic or the NDE. This is very important. So if you are using code for exemption, in the critical zone root and final pass, you have to do MT and the butt weld shall be examined by QT also. So we have to do UT when you are going for hydrostatic exemption. That is open book question. These are not important. Then fitness for service evaluation. So this is another option. If you are going for radiography, it is allowed. Or we can go for fitness for service evaluation. The owner may operator may utilize the fitness for service evaluation other appropriate based on the established principle. The last line, the evaluation shall be performed by an engineer experience in storage tank design and evaluation methodology used. So he should have experience in the storage tank design and evaluation methodology. That is open book question. And hydrostatic exemption others. So where you can exempt. Suppose repair to alteration, floating roof, if you are doing any alteration, no hydro test is required. Floating modification, no hydro test is required. That is important. Then outside critical zone also. Portion of new bottoms in tanks may be replaced without a hydro test when the subgrade and a new place found in the condition acceptable or such condition either of the following. For tanks with on-ring, the on-ring support under the on-ring. For tanks without the bottom replaced does not remaining the bottom. These are not important actually. So this is not important. Then we will go to the settlement survey. It is typically what is the formula settlement survey? I told N is equal to D by 10. What is the D is the tank diameter divided by 10. What is the minimum number of points? Shell 8 points minimum. What is the distance, maximum distance allowed between the shell settlement? 32 feet. So if that, okay, again I will repeat. Settlement, construction, when you have to do settlement during hydro test. 650 requirements I will tell, same only. So how many set of readings you have to take? 6 set of readings. Okay, when you have to take empty tank, 25% filling, 50% filling, 75% filling, after 100%, after 24 hours, then empty. If the purchaser accept, only 3 required set readings are empty, 24 hours after filling, and re-empty. Okay, only 3. Now, what should be the minimum readings is 8 in the circumference of the cell. What is the minimum distance between any two ring? 32 feet. I told you the formula N is equal to D by 10. If the diameter is 60, we have to take minimum 8. If the diameter is more than 80, then we have to divide it by 10. But the number should be the even number. For example, 110 divided by 10, 11 is not allowed. 12. We have to this one. Same only. Okay. A settlement survey shall be conducted for all existing that under your hydrostatic except history of service. Just to highlight this one. Then this is the formula given here actually. The minimum number of elevation points N is equal to D by 10. Formula miss ஆயிருந்துச்சுனா you write it because soft copy we edited. Formula miss ஆயிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Miss ஆயிருக்கான். You write this formula. So N is equal to D by 10. D is the tank diameter. N is the minimum number of settlement measurement, not less than 8. All values should be rounded to the next higher even whole number. The maximum settlement shall be 32 feet. Settlement survey points. When a settlement survey is required, according to 12 point, tank settlement shall be measured during filling and the test water reaches 100%. Highlight this also. Yeah. Again, N is missing. Just to write this, but soft copy we have included it because there is some problem in this code book. Marking, nothing is there actually. What should be the letter height? 5 by 32. It is same 4 mm. Same only. Highlight this one. 5 by 32 inch. Then where you attach a additional nameplate for reconstructed. Okay. Highlight this one. That is, the new nameplate shall be attached to the tank adjusting to existing nameplate. When you are using a re-rating, any new plate should be attached to the existing nameplate. Then record keeping 13.3. When a tank is evaluated, 13.2 nothing is there. This is one. New nameplate shall be attached. 13.3. Record keeping. When a tank is evaluated, repaired and altered or reconstructed according to standard, the following information is applicable, shall be part of the owner operator records. So what do you think? It was a open book in your question bank actually. So calculation for construction, repair, additional support. Then this is actually important. Radiograph shall be retained for 1 year. Repair radiograph you have to retain for 1 year. Yeah, records. Radiograph means a RT report. Records and film, both. 650, 5 years. New construction we have to take 5 years. But here only repair 1 year you have to repair. Actually, that's all main code. We will have a break. After 15 minutes, we will go to the annexure. Annexure B, settlement. Right. Please take annexure B, tank bottom settlement. Yeah, annexure A, nothing is there. That is a list. So annexure A, when, which code? Okay. Again, there will be 2 to 3 questions in the annexure B. Bottom settlement. There are 4 types of settlement. Settlement, one is uniform settlement. What is meant by uniform settlements? The entire shell is going down. Generally, uniform settlement, it is talking about the in-service tank, not the construction. Okay. Settlement, construction, when we will check during hydro test, we will check. But in the in-service, it should be checked periodically. There is no fixed rule every year or every 2 years. Generally, before every shutdown, they will check whether it is settling or not. Okay, we have to maintain a record. The settlement reading should be taken by people experienced in the settlement measurements. Now, what is the problem? First one is the uniform settlement. Shell uniform settlement, the problem is it will not induce any stress in the tank. Only the problem connected piping and nozzles will be under stress because they are already welded. When the tank is going down, what will happen? There will be a bend or crack. That is called a uniform settlement. Second one is called tilting of the tank. Tilting means tank is settling only one side. It is going like this, tilting. Tilting is very dangerous because tilting can have 2 problems. One is when it is tilting, the liquid level will one side will go up. When you see, suppose you rotate the bottle, you can see liquid level will one will go up. So it will cause a stress in the tank. Another problem is if the tank has a floating roof, it will not float because floating only it will be a level. When the tank is tilting, what will happen? It will jam. Okay, and the seals may break. That is second one. Third settlement is called uneven settlement. Uneven settlement, tank is a very big structure. It is a flux structure, is flexible structure. Even the shell, sometimes one area will settling, another area not settling, third area settling. Like this. You can see the bottle here. That like this. It can be settled like this. This is called uneven settlement. Again, uneven settlement is problem. Fourth one is called edge settlement. Edge means only edge settling at the bottom, other area not settling. Where edge settlement starting is called as a breakover point. And the fifth one is, this is about the shell. If you come to the bottom, bottom can have a bulging or it can be a projection also. So how much bulging is allowed? There is a formula. Maximum bulging allowed is 0.37 into R. R is the radius of the tank in feet. How much bulging? Everything, there is a sketch is there. Okay. Generally, there will be around 3 questions will be asked in the annexure B. Very simple chapter, not very complicated. So highlight this one. Yes. During shutdown only. Yeah, technique only. This is the technique you have to understand. So this is the bulging. You can see. See, this is the bulging on the bottom. Bulging need not to be a circular. It can be elliptical also. So they will make a circle. So how much is bulging is allowed? If you make a circle, this is called a radius. This is the bulging. From here, we have to make a straight ruler. How much depth is allowed? 0.37 into radius. That's all. If it is less than this, it is acceptable. Bulging is 0.37 radius. If it is more than that, we have to cut it and replace with a another plate or the patch plate. Your side also, both are same. Okay. This is called a depression. Over side we call it a bulge. Okay. Okay, right. So we will start from annexure B. Highlight this one. Third line, B 1.1. During operation, settlement measurement should be taken at a planned frequency based on the assessment of soil settlement predictions. For existing tanks that do not have initial settlement data, a program settlement monitoring should be based on the prior service history. And B12, if any time settlement is deemed excessive, the tank should be emptied and re-leveled. That is important. That is close up. Suppose if it is excessively setting, we have to empty the tank and re-level it. Re-leveling of a sizable tank is expensive and rather difficult to achieve. Thus, a decision to re-level a tank is crucial one and relies very much on the proper interpretation and evaluation of the monitored settlement data. A big tank is very difficult to lift. For re-leveling, you have to lift the tank or you have to shift the tank. Small tank, it is not a problem. Okay. Then highlight the P 1.3 second and major re-leveling of the tank involving total lifting of the tank shell and bottom at one time can introduce highly localized stress in the structure and impair the integrity. Then we will go to the type of settlement. Highlight a B 2.1 first to two line. Measurements of tank settlement should be performed by personal experience in the type of measurement procedure being performed using equipment capable of sufficiently accuracy distinguishing the settlement difference. The principal type of tank settlement consists of settlement that relate to shell and bottom. So either the tank shell can settle or shell is not settling, only bottom is settling. Now tank shell settlement can be measured during in-service also. Bottom measurement we can do only during shutdown because you have to go inside a tank and measure it. Okay. So this is the formula. You know this, highlight it. Maximum spacing, shell settlement, 32 feet. There must be actually four equally spaced diametric pools. N is equal to D by 10. That is for the shell. Another one is same only. Same. Then another one is there must be at least 8 settlement points. The maximum settlement 32 feet around the circumference. So maximum 32 feet is allowed. If you use a D by 10 formula, you will achieve the 32 feet. It will be always less than 32 feet only. Now bottom, we have to follow 2 rules. This is the bottom. We have to mark how many minimum 8 readings, and the bottom plate every 10 feet we have to take level. We have to check the level whether it is within the level. Maximum spacing is this is shell. First one is shell. So shell minimum number of readings I told 8. So I will put it like this. When tank diameter is 80 feet or less, we have to take 8 readings. 8 reading means 4 diametric lines will result in 8 readings. When the tank diameter is more than 80 feet, formula D by 10. If the D by 10 value common as odd number na 11, 13, we have to next even number, you have to take it. Okay. If you follow the D by 10 formula, the maximum distance between 2 readings will be always less than 32 feet. Because as per code, maximum allowed circumference, that's why we use only 32 feet is allowed. If you follow the D by 10 formula, it will match. Bottom, again, when the tank diameter is less than 80 feet, we have to take 8 readings. And another one, bottom, the diametrical inside also, every 10 feet you have to check the level is correct. Okay. For example, we will work with some diameter tank. So, okay, tell me, what is the diameter of the tank? Tank diameter. Okay, tank diameter is equal to 60 feet. So I will ask you a question. How many shell settlement points how many bottom settlement point you have to take? Calculate how many bottom settlement point you have to take. Try this. If you answer the question correctly, you understand what I said.
Every 10 seconds. Maximum missing at every 10 seconds.
So what is the answer for these 2 questions? Yes, online, anybody?
First one 8, sir.
Okay, second one.
Second one 60 by 4 or second one.
Okay, so first one, I told what is the formula D by 10. So it will become 6, but the 6 is not allowed, minimum 8.
So
That
how
is the
you
answer.
saying D by 10, sir? Where it is? It doesn't say D by. Sir? I can't see you. Hello? Sir?
Please wait, Sriram. Sir, welcome.
Thank you.
சரி அது ஆஃப் பண்ணிடுங்க சார்ஜ் மாதிரி ஜெனரேட் ஆன் பண்ணுங்க எல்லாம் நெட் போயிடுச்சு அவரை போட இது ஜெனரேட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க எல்லாம் சார்ஜ் போட்டிருக்காங்க அதனால ஓவர்லோடு எவ்ரிதிங் ரெக்கார்டிங் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுங்க ரெக்கார்டிங் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுங்க